Good morning, dear friends. I welcome one and all for Saturday's webinar session by Hello Kids. Today, we are going to learn about body safety rules. To know more about this, we have our guest, Anuja Amin. Welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for having me here today.
Anuja Amin is a postgraduate in Human Resource Management from the London School of Economics. Her mission of reaching out to children, especially with a traumatic childhood, led her to start Circles of Safety in 2015. She has dedicated her life to educate and empower children, teachers, parents, and the community to prevent child sexual abuse. Welcome to Hello Kids, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mamta, for that introduction, ma'am. So quickly, I just want to say that thank you so much for being here today. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a mother to two daughters. So, all this work that I'm doing, I've also used it firsthand. And I am a body literacy educator, trainer, and I am the founder of Circles of Safety, where we do a lot of work on sensitizing, like she said, the community on child sexual abuse, making them aware of it. And it started from a very personal place, my own journey of being a survivor. And I was 5 years old when I was sexually abused, and since then several episodes continued, and I realized later in life that most people shut up about it, don't talk about it. And if I wanted to bring about a change and I wanted to protect a whole generation of children, I would have to find the courage to talk about it and to make others aware of this issue. And that's how Circles of Safety started, with my own feeling of the shame and guilt and denial, which actually just helps the molesters, and it is their best friend to continue to do what they're doing. So that's a little bit about my journey. So once again, thank you so much for being here and making my mission possible. So, through the workshops that I conduct in schools, many parents tell me that, child sexual abuse is not something I'm worried about with my child, because my child is always supervised, or I have grandparents at home, or I have this, maid or a nanny at home who supervises my child when I'm away or I'm at work. And so I'm not worried. And I just want to tell you that sometimes those measures are not enough. Definitely having somebody around can help, take note of events that are happening, but we need to be more, proactive and arm our children with the right knowledge, so that if they ever find themselves in distress, it doesn't have to be sexual abuse, it can be anything concerning, then they should know when to come back and talk to you. So I want to show you a quick video that highlights this, and it also shows us that, do you think just stranger danger messages, is that enough when we are talking to our children? Let's understand. It's a very amazing video, and please share your thoughts. Please continue on the chat window.
हाय ऑडिशन लेंगे ठीक है आप तैयार हो क्या करोगे डांस करोगे ठीक है मैं इसको ले जाऊं फिर चलो आज वो भी मुझे नहीं लगता है कि वो कुछ ऐसा करेगा क्योंकि मैंने उसे सिखाया हुआ कि ऐसे किसी अनजान आदमी के साथ ऐसे किसी को अपने कपड़े या कुछ करने नहीं देंगे ठीक है तो आप मॉनिटर पे बैठो और कौन सी क्लास में हो आप केजी वाओ जोक आता है कोई जोक सुना दो एक आदमी होता है क्या लगता है करेगा हटाएगा नहीं अच्छा हमें गेम खेलेंगे ठीक है आपका फेवरेट सुपर हीरो कौन है पावर रेंजर्स ठीक है तो हम क्या करते हैं हम पावर रेंजर्स के कॉस्ट्यूम्स पहनेंगे ठीक है आते हैं आपको पावर रेंजर्स वाले गेम्स आते हैं आपको आते हैं चलो ठीक है तो मैं अभी क्या करूंगा मैं कॉस्ट्यूम लेकर आऊंगा ठीक है कॉस्ट्यूम लेकर आऊंगा फिर आपको पावर रेंजर्स की कॉस्ट्यूम पहनाऊंगा फिर हम दोनों मिलके पावर रेंजर्स वाले गेम्स खेलेंगे ठीक है हाँ ठीक है पक्का चलो अच्छा खड़े हो यहाँ पे ठीक है तो अभी मैं आपकी हाँ मैं ड्रेस लेकर आऊंगा पहले ये तो उतारनी पड़ेगी ना हाथ ऊपर करो ठीक है हाँ शाबाश इसमें हर दूं कराता ये है, ठीक है। अच्छा सुनो, अभी पैंट निकाल दूं आपकी, हाँ ठीक है, चलो ठीक है।
रियली मतलब इतना सिखाने के बाद भी बच्चे बातों में आ जाते हैं इतना इजीली।
So I understand that some of you may have not understood this because of the language. Hindi may not be your language of comfort. So let me just quickly tell you, it was a social experiment whereby the child just met this person 5 minutes before, and they were able to talk them and manipulate them into saying, we're going to play these games of Power Rangers and we'll wear a Power Ranger bodysuit, etc. And they were able to convince them. And as you can see, not in a forced way, the child didn't look distressed, the child did not look stressed at all, and they agreed. They kept saying, yes, you can remove my clothes. And that is how it happened, so smoothly. And the father was observing this entire thing happening. Initially the father said, I've told my child about stranger danger, I talk about all this, so he is not going to remove his clothes, or he's not going to listen to this man. But it took him 5 minutes to get him to do this and to remove his clothes. So the lesson, I would love to know what you take away from this video. Please share in the chat. But I just want to say that many a times we believe that this can't happen in our family, this can't happen in our house, but let me tell you, it does. Many a times it does. And so in a statistic in India shows that 1 in 2 children, in India in 2007, a study conducted for 13,000 children found that 1 in 2 children, boys and girls, were sexually abused before they turned 18 years of age. So this is not something people tell me, oh, you have 2 daughters, please be careful. And I say, anyone with a child needs to be vigilant and needs to empower their child with the right messages so that the child can recognize that something is not right. This should ring an alarm bell and they should come and talk to you. And that is where I want to talk to you about the 10 body safety rules that every child must know. And I'm going to go through each rule. If at any point you have questions, or if at any point you want me to explain a certain term further, then please write and I will take your questions as we go along. We don't want to wait till the end. Okay. So the first rule that I want to start with is called use proper names of body parts. Right now, many a times when we were growing up, at least I know when I was growing up, people made up names of my private parts. The real name is genitals. I believe that our entire body is private in a way that if you're on a bus and somebody touches our shoulder or holds our shoulder, we're not going to like it, right? So who said only certain parts of my body are private? Depending on who the person is, my sense of privacy changes. So for children, even as young as 2 years, 1, 2 years, you can start practicing this. Can you believe that young? When you're changing their diaper, when you're giving them a bath, when you're making them wear a swimsuit and taking them swimming, these are all the moments when you can use the correct names of body parts. When you're bathing them, you can even say, hey, can I just put some water and clean your penis or clean your vagina? Or vulva is the right name for the entire external genitals of the female, right? So using these words, normalizing it. I know I did that when my child was 18 months old. I started using these and it was really helpful because first I had to normalize these words for myself. And when I was talking to a child and a baby, it made it easier for me to say it. So my practice happened back then. You should also talk to your child about the difference between private space and public space. So something like when we're having dinner together on a dining table, or the kitchen is a public space where we do things together. But a bathing time, when you're using the toilet, or sleeping time, these are more private times, and these are more private spaces like bathroom and things like that. So they know that time is for them, and that is something that they can use in private, and nobody else is allowed to, touch them or see them or talk to them about their private parts, right? So this is something basic that we can get out of the way and find the courage to use the correct names. The second rule is hugs, kisses, and being touched is optional. This is very, very important from the conditioning that we have had as children. I'm again homogenizing that experience, but I know many, many parents tell me that, when they were growing up, you had to listen, and obedience was respect. And that is something that we are challenging. And that is something we want to change with our child. We're saying respect, very important. We must respect everyone. But how we show that respect, touch doesn't have to be involved. So, many a times I have heard, and it happens even in our families, where, the family says, oh, this uncle or this grandparent has come after a long time, go sit in their lap or go hug them. And I say, if your child is happy to do that, great, let them do it. But if they are not, and if they are cringing and they're saying no and they're clinging on to you, then it's important to show them respect, but it does not have to be by going and sitting on their lap. You can give them alternate ways. You can say, you can touch their feet if that is something that is culturally accepted to, get their blessings. You can ask your child that, come on, can we go make a refreshing, sharbat for them, or let's offer them juice, or offer them water, or, that's ways of acknowledging that person's presence, giving them a high five, doing namaste. These are all very acceptable ways that doesn't necessarily include touch to a degree where your child may be uncomfortable. Right? So these are some things that we need to think of, because building that body autonomy for our child, where they can select when they want to be involved in these interactions, is very important. They should never feel forced. The third rule that we have is called use the terms safe touch and unsafe touch. And I don't want to just limit it to touch. I also want to say it can be safe, unsafe, and confusing situations, because we have to keep in mind that a lot of the times, given even computers and all of that, things will not always just happen by touch. Sometimes people show them adult content. People may show them things that are not age appropriate. People may talk to them, or use bad words, or talk to them about certain things that are not age appropriate. Then that also is something that the child should know. So if we keep saying touch, then that can also become a problem, right? So when we talk about, a lot of parents tell me, I tell my child about good and bad touch. Now, first of all, I'm saying, when your child is 3 and 4 years old, they are not, when you say good and bad, and you say you do this bad boy and good girl, then it becomes very moral, and you don't want the child to feel shame, or you don't want the child to associate it to their personality. So you want to use terms like safe, unsafe, appropriate, inappropriate, if at all. But appropriate is a big word that they don't understand. So safe, unsafe, using examples is better. So I give examples like, when you fall down, or you're sad, and you're sleepy, and you want mama to hug you or read you a book. These are all very safe situations that make you feel good and make you feel happy. And at the same time, if you touch a hot pan, or you kick somebody, or somebody kicks you or hits you, those are unsafe situations, and things that may make you feel sad or make you feel angry. And this is unsafe. It may hurt you in some way. And confusing situations is something, again, I give an example of, like, you are in school, and a teacher strokes your thigh, or just holds you in a way that you don't feel comfortable, and you get confused about, it's my teacher who cares for me, but this doesn't feel right. Then that's a confusing situation. Or an uncle asking to sit on your lap, and you're not feeling right about the way they're holding you, then you come and talk. I'm not saying that the uncle or the teacher is abusing, but the child should have the knowledge to recognize how they feel. That is very important. I'm going to come to that in a few slides. Another point that is very important, rule number 4, is discourage secrets. So when we talk about secrets in the family, we use safe surprises and unsafe secrets. So tomorrow is Father's Day, and my daughter wants to make something for her father, and she wants to bake something. Then that's a safe surprise that we're allowed to, keep quiet about, because in the end, when everybody finds out, everyone's going to feel happy and we're going to celebrate. But there is something called an unsafe secret, which is when people ask you to keep quiet about something because, say, mama papa are not going to like it, or you think you have to keep quiet about it because somebody will get angry if they find out, then these are all unsafe secrets, and it's a family rule that we don't keep secrets. Similarly, we also have to model this. Being adults, we need to model these rules and show that even we're not really keeping secrets, or how we're openly discussing things. So very important that you get these across. Oops. Rule number 5 is respond to the icky feeling. Icky feeling is what I was just discussing earlier, that the child, icky feeling is like a guiding voice. Sometimes when we go into, when we're walking on the street and there's a certain alleyway or certain route when we take, we just don't feel good, and we say we're not getting the right vibes. I'm not feeling, too okay about this. That is your body telling you something doesn't seem okay. And we need to spend time with our child, talk to them, and make sure their guiding voice and their instinct becomes strengthened. And that's when we need to listen to them. Very often, as caregivers, as parents, we say, no, I don't want to hear what you're saying. Listen to what I'm saying. This is the right way to do it, etc. And we want to hear them out. We want to hear their feelings, and then we discuss it and take it forward. So make sure that they can tune into their feelings, channel into those thoughts, and then they're able to trust that instinct, right? We don't want to kill that instinct. It's very important. That is what will tell them, number one, red alert, something doesn't seem right. I need to go talk to a safe adult. Rule number 6 is there are no exceptions to these rules. Okay, all of these rules, there are no exceptions. It is the same for even a familiar person or any family member also. So what basically we're saying is, many a times we say, oh, if a stranger does this or somebody outside does it. But did you know that statistics show that 9 in 10 children get abused, sexually abused by somebody in the known circles, with somebody they trust? Okay, so we have to be very careful when we talk to our children, and in our rules we need to keep that in mind. So many a times I say, even if when I'm bathing you, or when I'm, with you, if something like, if sometimes when I'm bathing or I'm combing their hair and I pull their hair too much, or my nail, this thing, then I give them the freedom to tell me, hey mama, that hurt me, please be careful. Doesn't mean I'm abusing them, but obviously they just need to learn the authority to speak up when something doesn't seem right or when they feel uncomfortable. And that is why saying there are no exceptions to these rules. Anybody, when you feel something, you feel uncomfortable, or you feel like confused, come and talk to us. We don't also want to make them scared, or we also don't want them to be fearful of these interactions. We want them to go into the world feeling safe. We want them to, explore the world and be adventurers, right? So we're not going to scare them. We're going to talk about this very casually, very openly. Number 7 rule is help your child identify the safe adults. Now, this is really important. You're not going to sit with your child and say, if this happens, come and talk to me, come and talk to your father, go and talk to your aunt. No, we're going to sit with your child and say, hey, if ever, something happens in school, or a child misbehaves with you, who do you like to talk to? Who have you gone and spoken to? And maybe they'll say, I went and told my favorite teacher. Then you say, okay, so you feel comfortable talking to your favorite teacher about these things? Okay, then that's one safe adult in your family safety network. So basically, in your grown-up safety network, you can show, like, if it's a very small child, you can show 3. So 3 to 5 people should be people they should know, who they can go to and talk to. So you can say, okay, that's one person that you can talk to. Then if something happens in the park, or when with your friends outside, who would you like to talk to if this happens? You give a scenario and help them. They decide who they feel comfortable talking to. You don't decide that for them. So that's again how you can talk to them and help them. And then you want to talk to those adults and let them know that, hey, my child feels really comfortable talking to you. So if ever any of these things come up, or if they share any concerns, can you please, come back to me and inform me. So they are also aware that the child may come, and that you're an informed parent, you're a responsible parent who's taking these steps to make sure that your child is empowered with body safety rules. Very important, specifically after the pandemic, where almost all kids have devices. So even things on the internet are not safe, and they need to understand digital literacy in a way. Very small children are also watching videos, sometimes when they're eating, sometimes in their free time, maybe when you're busy with some home chores and they just have their phone in front. Sometimes YouTube ads pop up with things that may not be appropriate. And so it's important first to put parental controls on the devices that the child is using. Later, children should know that nothing that is put on the internet, it can be a photo, it can be a comment, it is sort of there forever. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So I have a simple thumb rule. What if there's something that you will not show your grandma or your future employer, then you don't put it on the internet. Very simple, right? So similarly, we just need to talk to our children, set those boundaries, and say that let's watch this video, or let's, whatever you are doing, let's do it in a more public space. So maybe in a common room, on the dining table, where you can see and hear what is happening, even if you're doing your work. Okay. The next rule is I believe you, and it's always right to tell. Rule number 9. Many times children don't talk to the parent because they will think my parent is not going to understand. They're scared, they've been manipulated, and many a times they feel that I'm not going to be believed. So if your child comes and talks to you, please say thank you for sharing this with me. I believe you, and find out more if you wish to, or wait for the child to feel more comfortable and talk to you as much as they want to open up at that point in time. Pushing them doesn't always work, right? But we want to always show confidence in our child. We want to stay calm, and we want them to come and talk to us and keep those communication lines open. The final rule is teach your child to respect others' boundaries. Also, many a times we only talk to our child about don't let anybody do this to you, but we don't empower our child, and we don't use it as a prevention opportunity. We don't use it as a prevention opportunity to tell our child that you can also not treat others that way. We don't use it as a prevention opportunity to tell our child that you also need to treat others with respect, you also need to talk to them properly, you also can't hurt them. If we need to tell our children to be feeling detectives. So basically, if you think another child is not feeling comfortable with what you're doing or a game you're playing, many a times these kids are playing doctor, etc., and if another child doesn't feel too comfortable, don't push them. Respect those boundaries. So we have to tell our child that it's mutual. How you behave is how others are going to behave with you. Finally, play your part, and each one of us can make sure that this is our children can be safe, and together we can raise an informed generation of children. So really, let's take some time to educate ourselves, learn the facts, understand what are the red flag behaviors, what are some concerning behaviors that a child may show, and also how do we respond if a child comes to us and talks to us. These are all other things that you can learn, and there are many books out there. Please follow my work on Instagram. It's circles_of_safety. I will share the link on this live in the comments also. And even on Facebook, you will find a lot of resources you can use, books you can use, teachable moment examples that you can use to share these body safety rules with your children. I'm open to questions. So if there are any more questions, if there are any concerns, anything that didn't make sense, then please write and share with me here. Okay, what I will do is I will also give you a link to our website where we have some free downloadable resources. So what these are free booklets that you can download where there's a poster of the body safety rules, there is information on the myths around child sexual abuse, there is information on how you can respond. We also do several workshops with schools, with parents. So if you in your school feel this is something that your school should be talking about, then please approach them. You can write to me. I will just also give you my email address. It is info@circlesofsafety.com, and you can always write to me and we can have a further chat around this. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention. You know where you can reach me. Thank you.